The jerk is one of 40 character comedy archetypes that can inject humor and a bit of edge into your stories. This archetype embodies the delightfully disagreeable figures whose unapologetic meanness is both their flaw and their charm. From a scathing comment to a hilariously inappropriate reaction, the jerk's knack for breaking social norms makes them a dynamic and memorable character in any comedic setting. The jerk is all about the tension they create, making them a perfect tool for exploring humor in social interactions. Whether they're sarcastically dismantling someone's ego or just brazenly flaunting societal roles, the jerk is a potent source of laughter and shock. It's basically something meant to appeal to our id, which in Freudian psychological terms is all about immediate gratification, unfiltered expression, and a lack of consideration for others. The jerk essentially becomes a sort of vicarious character for the audience. I'm 100% positive you've run into or created a jerk comedy character at some time or another, so you likely know how easy it is for this one to go off the rails. With that in mind, I have some tips to keep you on the more well-executed side of the equation. 1. Consider the timing of their rudeness. For the jerk, humor often relies not just on what is said or done, but when it happens. Consider when you have to choose the jerk to be a jerk for laughs. For instance, if there's moments of genuine compassion or tragedy, it could feel jarringly inappropriate and alienate some of the audience. Also, if the jerk's comments or antics come too frequently, it can overwhelm stuff and desensitize the audience. So, with that in mind, here are some suggestions for proper timing. First, you can use it to interrupt tension. One of the best times to have the jerk chime in is right when it can help diffuse things. Or, for another possibility, if people know a character is a jerk, you can build anticipation. Have the audience know that the jerk can unleash something, but you're basically holding it back until things finally boil over. Another great time to strike with this is after another character's failure, though it helps if the remark highlights the absurdity or folly of the failed attempt in a way that resonates with the audience, as opposed to just kicking someone vulnerable when they're down. Finally, during lulls, the jerk's rudeness can shake things up and refocus the audience's attention. 2. Place the jerk in situations where their usual demeanor is mismatched with expectations. Remember, the jerk is all about breaking social norms. So, give them norms to work with. Place them in a setting where their behavior contrasts what's expected, like a jerk in a meditation retreat, unable to align with a peaceful, quiet surrounding. Or pair them in a relationship where they're with their opposite, like someone who is extremely polite, shy, or overly optimistic. The stark difference between the pair and the responses highlights the absurdity of this pairing. Another great way to use this is with mismatched responsibilities. Think of the jerk in roles or tasks that are at odds with their personalities, like a jerk having to play as Santa. 3. Be sarcastic. Part of what makes the jerk entertaining rather than just annoying is the wit that comes along with the abrasive personality. So, with that in mind, find ways to package the meanness with things like sarcasm. You can go with mockery and ridicule, like using sarcasm to mock or ridicule the absurdity of the audience's behavior or social norms. You can have the jerk highlight the inconsistencies or illogical aspects of other people's behavior or the situation they're in. In this case, they become a vehicle for exposing truth. It's about saying what nobody else has said in a clever way. 4. Create moments of self-awareness. A jerk who is occasionally self-reflective can be more compelling. They may not change immediately, but moments where they recognize their flaws or question their actions can create an interesting tension within the character and maintain audience engagement. 5. Add depth through backstory. Providing a backstory that explains why the jerk is the way they are can add layers to their character. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but gives the audience insights into their complexities. Maybe they've built up these walls as a defensive mechanism, or perhaps they were modeled after a similarly abrasive mentor. 6. Use understatement. Another option for creating humor through contrast is to underreact to situations. For instance, if there's all kinds of chaotic or negative stuff going on, the jerk could maintain a calm demeanor or undersell things with a minimalistic reaction. Or, when it comes to their own personal achievements or situation, they might brush it off or downplay things. 7. Unexpected kindness. Occasionally showing a flash of kindness in a grudging way can add to things, especially if they still remain true to who they fundamentally are. It helps to keep them from being one note if the character is meant to be something like a protagonist or a major character. Furthermore, while not necessary, a redemption arc can be satisfying. But for this, it has to be with small, incremental changes, as opposed to a sudden transformation. And even if they do evolve, the core characteristics should remain consistent. This consistency helps maintain the authenticity of the character. Ensuring that the jerk's actions, while mean, don't cross into being outright offensive or disturbing can be a challenge. But still, there's a lot to be gained from using the jerk comedy archetype. Hopefully these tips can help you better juggle this archetype. And remember, this is just one of 40. I have others up already if you wish to check those out. Click on this playlist for all sorts of things I have to say on writing comedy.